Hey, y'all, listen. What's today? Monday. Happy Monday, y'all. Happy Monday. Here for trending topics. I'm in the building. We got stuff to talk about. The title is real simple. It's called Wow. Wow. You know, my heart breaks for Justin Bieber. None of us outside of his circle, and maybe even in his circle, will ever truly know. I'm trying to fix my glasses here. They seem crooked. Will ever truly know what's going on with him. But I do know this. Every now and then he's throwing out what I'm calling SOS signs, cryptic messages out there to say that, you know what, I'm not well. It's interesting how they got Wendy Williams on lockdown, but nobody's seeming to go see about Justin Bieber. I get it. He's grown. I get it. He's married. And I get it. His wife is probably trying to do everything that she possibly can. But it's so sad. You know, the latest term on these streets is they crashing out. He's definitely crashing out. And it's sad. We're going to talk about it. Jonathan Majors, just when he thought he was doing the curve. You know, life can be a roller coaster ride. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. He was down for a long time when he went through this whole Grace Jabari situation. And just when he got his movie to come out on Apple TV, he was torn with the movie. He's engaged to Megan Good. They was going around. He loves her. She loves him. And boom, here we come. And Grace Jabari and Jonathan Majors, they settled their case. And just as he's trying to recover, boop, here it is. You got a video coming out with an audio, coming out where he's pretty much saying, you know, he's aggressive. You know, it's interesting how they allow some people to recover and how others, they're going to just keep stepping on your neck. But we'll talk about it. Then we got this postal worker. I will never understand people who steal. I just simply don't get it. I don't get it. I will never understand it. And especially when people want to steal other people's property, money, things, cars, whatever. I don't get it. I don't get how your mind is not telling you that eventually you're going to get caught. I don't get how you're okay with just, you know, taking people's stuff. And then it be one thing, we may feel a little bit sorry for you if you're not saying this right, but we may feel a little sorry for you if you're stealing to feed your family. Maybe we'll feel a little sorry for you. But if you stealing so you could be balling out, going on vacations, buying luxury cars, jewelry, clothes, and all of that, and you stealing some hard people or working people's money, shame on you. You should rot in the jail. So this postal worker was stealing people's income tax returns. Mm-hmm. To the tune of $1.6 million. And he was living large. Going on vacations where the room was costing $1,300 a night. $1,300 a night. Wilding out, balling out on other people's money. Come on, Sasuke, direct deposit people. But you know what? Some people, unfortunately, they done messed up with the bank so bad that they don't even have a checking account. But you ain't lying. Direct deposit people. Stealing the people's checks, putting it in his accounts. And got busted. To God be the glory. And he's facing a lot of jail time, and that's what he gets. But listen, people, balling out on other people's cash, hard-earned money. And you know something, let me tell you something. When someone steals your identity, when someone steals your tax refund, it take a minute for you to get your money back. And a lot of these individuals, like that tax refund is going to change their moment in their life. Maybe they catching up on some bills. Maybe they was waiting for it to come so they could buy their kid a pair of sneakers, a shirt, a pair of shoes. It's horrible. It's terrible. But they caught his behind. Listen, I'm going to bring the people on in the building so we can get a talking. You know what I need in the chat? I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Monday Night Trending Topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is real simple. It's called Wow. We got Justin Bieber and his SOS signs. We got Jonathan Majors caught on audio, pretty much saying I was the aggressor. Let me tell you this too. Watch who you date. If you dating someone and they constantly holding their phone, like I don't trust these people with the phone anymore. You falling asleep, they taking pictures of you, and you don't even know until later till they mad at you. And the next thing you know, they got a picture of you when you was getting out the shower and you didn't even know. People doing too much with the phones. Don't play with me in that phone. And I mean it. Then we got the postal worker. Let me bring the people in the building. Hey, Wayne. Hey, Katrina.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, In My Opinion.
Hey, Diva. Hey, Fana.
Hey, Julia.
Choo-choo.
Come on,
hey,
choo-choo.
Hit the like button. I'm watching.
And thank you to my mods that's in the building on the platform and the ones that is out on the outside, not on the train. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, mods. Thank you so much. Listen, this is not on the docket tonight, but I don't understand why these people be in the streets fighting, and then they doing the most and they fighting over nothing. Let me see if I didn't. Yeah, this is in Atlanta. Shout out to all of y'all in Atlanta. Why are y'all wilding out? Look, I'm not even doing this story tonight because I'm just sick of the people in the streets acting the fool. But in case y'all didn't see this video, I got to show because this is just ridiculous. They seriously.
Get up. Bro, y'all not serious. I got a good video too. Oh my god! Why did security just let them do it?
I'm not even talking about that story tonight. The people need to stop with the foolery. Yeah, the girls were fighting, Flip. The girls were fighting. It's ridiculous. Seriously fighting in the streets. I cannot. But let me get into this first story because that wasn't even on the docket tonight. I can't fool with these people. They need to stop. The girls were fighting. So let me get into this first story with Justin Bieber. And you know what? Everything that I'm seeing before my eyes when it comes to Justin Bieber is heart-wrenching. It's heartbreaking. I don't know, I wish someone who really cared would intervene. You know, it's unfortunate at one point Justin Bieber was connected to this pastor, but that particular pastor, he kind of fell from grace. I just say prayers for Justin Bieber. I just wish someone would step in, help out, and intervene. Let me go ahead and share screen so we can get a little bit more into this story. So Justin Bieber says he feels like he's drowning in a cryptic post as he views health concerns. The believers are worried. Justin Bieber sparked further concern for his health after he posted a cryptic message about feeling like he's drowning on his Instagram stories on Sunday. I was always told when I was a kid not to hate. The 31-year-old began in his post. but it made me feel like I wasn't allowed to have it, and so I didn't tell anyone I've had it, which made me feel like I've been drowning, feeling unsafe to acknowledge it. The singer continued. I think we can only let hate go by first acknowledging it's there. How couldn't we feel hate from all the hurt we have experienced? And that is his actual post right there. Okay. I'm very sad. The same day, Bieber and his wife Haley, 28, went to Disneyland in California and documented their adventurous day on Instagram. Bieber's posts included snapshots of the couples playing Buzz Lightyear, Astro Blasters, and rocking Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse ears for a marriage selfie. Bieber did not caption his post. The baby singer has recently made fans concerned for his well-being due to his online posts. Last week, he shared a message on his Instagram stories in which he said he's always felt unworthy. When people told me I deserved something, it made me feel I'm sneaky, like, damn, if they only knew my thoughts, he wrote, adding, I definitely feel unequipped and unqualified most days. Before that, Bieber rapped about being high as a friend smoked cigarettes next to him in a February 24th Instagram video. His fans called out his strange behavior in the comments, with one person writing, something is very off. This video disturbs me on so many levels. What the F? If anyone's a true fan of Justin Bieber, you would know that there's something wrong with him. He needs help, a second person wrote. As the concerns for Bieber grew, his rep shut down claims that he was on drugs. In February, the rep told TMZ that the speculation about the pop star is exhausting and pitiful and shows that despite the obvious truth, people are committed to keeping negative, salacious, harmful narratives alive. The spokesperson added that the past year has been very transformative for Bieber, who welcomed his first child, son Jack Blues Bieber, with Haley last summer. In January, the couple sparked divorce rumors when Bieber randomly unfollowed his wife on Instagram, but Bieber later claimed that his account was hacked. He said, S is getting sus out here, he wrote. It's a lot going on with Justin Bieber. Wayne, your thoughts?
I don't follow Justin like that. I don't, I can't even. I mean, I would know what somebody like this, you have access to everything. What can I tell you? But I will tell you this about the phones. I was at a wedding, my friend's wedding, and I dozed off for a second. And somebody took a picture, and everybody's phone was going off, and mine too. He texted everybody, so when I opened my eyes, everybody was looking. That's it.
Yeah, that's messy. Katrina, your thoughts?
Next time, don't go sleep at that wedding. I'm just playing. But no, it's amazing how we can see people out there that need help, and we overlook that. But you got Wendy that somebody messed with her bank account, whatsoever, and she's in a conservatorship. And when Wendy was drinking, she wasn't driving, but you got Karen out there that was drinking and driving. So they put their focus on the wrong people. Not
Mm.
saying that they don't need help or anything like that, but you can clearly see that this child got a problem. Well, this young man got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Based on what he looked like and what he looked like in those pictures, you can see that he's on something. What he's on, I don't know. I can't say, but it's something going on in there. And I know his wife loved him or whatsoever, but girl, and you can't make anybody go to rehab. You can't do that. It has to be for themselves. They self have to make that decision if they wants to get clean or whatsoever. But I would push that narrative because you got a child by this guy, and he needs help. And I blame his parents a little because she was giving him things that he didn't even know he was taking, and he was racing down Hollywood Boulevard, drag racing. And that's when he took that picture, that mug shot of him smiling on his mug shot. It's sad. Bieber been going down for a long time, and sometimes people use these substances to hide what's really going on inside of them, and they use that as an escape route. But I wish he would have picked a better vice, because everybody need a vice in their life, but you just got to pick the right ones, and hopefully he can get some help. That's all I got, Diva.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Felicia, your thoughts?
Woo! Good evening, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all the folks who are Irish and celebrate Patty's Day. No, I didn't have anything to drink, but God knows I should have gotten drunk today. All right, a lot was going on. Now, I don't follow Justin Bieber very much, but I do understand sadness. So he's very sad
Mm.
and he's feeling very isolated and alone. And so I would suggest that he go get some really good counseling and he be in it every day until he can find a place of peace for himself so he can go be the father that he wants to be, the husband he wants to be, and not all the other things that other people need him to be, allegedly. So that would be my word to him. And I'm going to keep him in my prayers tonight because he does sound deeply sorrowful. I'm done.
You know what? Thank you, Felicia. I appreciate that. And I connected with you the moment you said sadness. And I do believe, and there's a lot of people out there that a lot of things and decisions they are making are based on their sadness. And he's saying that he never felt worthy. It's a lot going on. And I also caught from his messages is, which unfortunately a lot of men are told this, it was almost like you can't express what you're feeling. And your feelings need a home. And when you holding that thing in, it's wrecking havoc in you. So I pray for all the people out there that are feeling extreme sadness, are feeling like an imposter, are feeling like, they can't be themselves. I like that. I'm praying for him too. Julius, your thoughts?
I'm going to take a spiritual approach here. Justin, I don't know if you're going to confirm what happened, but we can see it. We could tell you're in pain. Talk to a therapist. Let it out. You can release it. When what we seen in that video, he feels trapped, tormented, gutted. Feels like no one can support him. He feels like he's not worthy, as he said in this message. Those who have gone through spirals, myself included, we know that all too well. And so I say to Justin, I'm praying for you. Find you a really good therapist that's going to have you dig deep. It's going to take work on your end too. But that pain that you're feeling, release it. Release it.
Thank you. In my opinion, your thoughts?
So a lot of people struggle in silence with depression.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to say you have a problem and to seek help. But you also have to have the right people around you that will tell you in a way that you can understand it. It's not as easy for somebody that's going through it, and especially when they're at their lowest, to understand the words that are coming out of their mouth. At that time, all they can feel is the despair, the loneliness. Even being around people, you can still feel this loneliness, this unworthiness, this feeling that the world would be better off without you. When you're at that point, you're at the bottom level. So what I need is for Justin to be around somebody or his wife, if she really loves him, because this is the point where this is the struggle part, okay? He's struggling in silence right now. And he's trying to get help because he's telling people how he's feeling. This is the point where they need to rally around him if they want him to survive and get him help. This is his cry for help. It's hard when you suffer with depression, but there are options out there that will help you. And I'm not, nobody doctor or nothing. I'm just speaking from experience. Get the help that you need, because once you get it, his moods will stabilize and he will feel so much better. He'll get that weight off of him. Whatever it is that's pressing down on him and weighing heavy on his heart, on his mind, it'll ease it up. And so I'm going to pray for him, and I'm going to pray for his family that somebody really intervenes for him.
I like that word, in my opinion. Thank you, everybody, for speaking on that. And again, I say to anybody out there, if you need help and you're feeling sad, please get help. Yeah, depression will definitely keep you down. Please get help. Thank you, everybody out there. We appreciate y'all. And thank you, everyone, for your comments on the Justin Bieber story. I'm going to go ahead and roll right into the Jonathan Major story. And with the Jonathan Major story, it's like him and Grace Jabari, they already settled their civil lawsuit. And so he was trying to move on with his life. He's been in counseling. He told us, his backstory of what happened to him when he was a child, and, pretty much how counseling has happened to him. And he's trying to, rise up, right, so to speak. His movie magazine Dreams, which they didn't want to put out once, he was going through what he was going through with Grace Jabari. It came out on Apple TV. Him and Megan Good was going around touring, and then boom, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here comes this audio message tape of what they're saying is Jonathan Majors admitting to putting his hands on Grace Jabari. Again, I don't want anybody, but I'm glad, with these numbers we have now, most of the people in my chat right now, it's all the people that are normally regulars with us. So, but just those that may catch this video on a replay, whatever, I want to be very clear. This is not about me saying, a predator or whoever should get away with certain things. But it is me saying that it's interesting how certain people, they just will never let them try to recover. And other people, they do the most and they could just continue on with life. And I'm saying that to say, it's interesting how this audio comes out now, right? He settled the case with Grace Jabari. He's doing his counseling as mandated. He has his movie comes out, and now all of a sudden this audio appears, right? With the whole Diddy thing, it's like they just keep dropping out videos, but there are other predators that have a name to them. I think there's these twin brothers. There's the men from Abercrombie and Fitch. There's hundreds of them, and you heard about their story, and then you don't hear it anymore. So when they go to court, they're going to get a fair day in court. But the other ones, it's almost hard to get a fair day because every other day there's a news story about you. But let me go ahead and share screen so we can get into this Jonathan Majors story. Yes, like a Chris Brown flip. It's just crazy. And I'm not going to go through all of this because I pulled up the Rolling Stone magazine article one. Jonathan Majors admits to strangling ex-girlfriend in newly unearthed audio. The actor is heard admitting to having aggressed Grace Jabari during a 2022 fight. And whatever he wanted to say aggress meant, right? So and the other thing with Grace Jabari, she was always secretly recording everything in their situation. My thing is, if that relationship was so tumultuous for her, instead of constantly recording, why didn't she just leave? But I'll continue on because I know everybody's going to say it takes time for people to leave, blah, 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 whatever. But I mean, if I got to start recording my mate, I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm not doing that. So Jonathan Majors admitted to strangling ex-girlfriend in a previously unreleased audio recording obtained by Rolling Stone. The conversation was captured in the aftermath of a days-long fight between Majors and his then-girlfriend, a professional dancer, Grace Jabari, in September 2022. The Marvel actor had been living with Jabari in London as he filmed the second season of the Disney Plus series, Loki, when he allegedly became angry at Jabari. According to his since-deleted civil since settled civil lawsuit filed by Jabari last April, she alleged Majors slammed her into a car, dragged her back inside their home, and he strangled her. The unearthed audio tape catches Jabari confronting Majors about the alleged attack in the following days. I'm ashamed I ever, Majors began before cutting himself off. I never been aggressive with a woman before. I never aggressed a woman. I aggressed you. You strangled me and pushed me against the car, Jabari interjects. Yes, all of those things are under aggress. Yeah, Major responds. That never happened to me. Because I said something sarcastically in your eyes, Jabari says. Well, clearly it's more than that, Major says. Something's inside of you, Jabari says. Yeah, towards you, Major agrees before the recording ends. Both an attorney and agent for Majors did not immediately respond to requests for a comment. An attorney for Jabari declined to comment. Some details of the dispute previously emerged during Majors' criminal trial in late 2023, where he was found guilty of reckless assault in the third degree and harassment following a different fight that took place in New York. He was arrested in March 2023 for allegedly attacking Jabari, who sustained a fractured finger and a cut to the back of her ear. Throughout the trial, Majors claimed that Jabari was the aggressor in that incident. He was acquitted of the two more serious charges, intentional assault and aggravated harassment. But because the judge barred any previous incidents of alleged physical abuse from the trial, only the aftermath of the September 2022 fight, Majors pleading with Jabari to not go to the hospital and threatening to unalive herself were mentioned in court. Claims by two of Majors' ex-girlfriends who allege he emotionally and or physically abused them during their relationship with him were similarly blocked from being shared at the trial. One of the ex-girlfriends, actress Emma Duncan, claimed Majors once choked her, and in another argument threatened to strangle and unalive her. Majors' attorney claimed he never choked or threatened Duncan. When Jabari sued Majors last March for defamation, assault, and battery and malicious prosecution, the complaint gave her full account of the alleged September 2022 attack. Jabari and Majors settled the case last November. The prolonged fight allegedly began when Majors became upset with Jabari for going to a pub with a friend and having the friend back over to their house, according to the evidence presented at trial and Jabari's civil complaint. The fighting continued over the next few days, with Majors admitting in a separate audio recording played at a trial that he had a temper and that he expected Jabari to hold herself to the standards of Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama in order to support him. On September 20th, 2022, the situation escalated according to the lawsuit when Majors became physically aggressive and pushed Jabari so hard that it bruised her backside. She attempted to leave the house, but Majors allegedly picked Grace up in the air and threw her against the hood of a car, according to court documents. Grace begins shouting for help, the lawsuit continues. Majors then forcibly grabbed Grace, placing her in a headlock, and put his hand over her mouth to prevent someone from hearing her cries for help. He brought Grace back into the house and held his hands around her neck, stating that he wanted to unalive her and that he was going to unalive her. Majors then started hitting Grace's head against the marble floor while strangling her until she felt she could no longer breathe. Majors later texted Jabari and pleaded for her not to go to the hospital, according to the suit and evidence shown at a trial, saying, I fear you have no perspective of what could happen if you go to the hospital. They will ask you questions, and I don't think you can actually protect us as it could lead to an investigation, even if you lie and they suspect something. Some of Jabari's responses were redacted during the trial, but the lawsuit said Jabari's went on to tell Majors, why would the man I love throw me around, strangle me, and look at my eyes and say he hates me and wants to unalive me? I'm reminded of what happened each waking second because I can barely move without pain. I also have to heal physically. That's not me stating other than facts. I've endured a bad head injury and I feel unwell. I have brain fog. I have a constant ringing headache. Majors has denied being physically abusive to Jabari. The audio comes in the wake of Majors sitting down for his first major interview since the domestic violence sentencing and a judge ordering him to complete a 52-week domestic violence intervention program. Speaking to the Hollywood Reporter ahead of the March 21st release of his film magazine Dreams, which has been shelved by Searchlight pictures following Major's arrest, but got picked up by a small distributor, Cliff Entertainment. Majors declined to answer specific questions about Jabari's accusations. He also didn't address any abuse claims raised by two former partners who he dated between 2013 and 2019. At some point, there has to be accountability for writing your own story, Majors told the publication. I'm going to fall into that narrative of falling apart of self-destruction. Have a struggle, blame the world. Have a struggle, hate yourself. Have a struggle, deny everything. None of these narratives is beneficial. Major said his newfound outlook was different. Have a struggle, learn, metabolize, and grow. Um, the Hollywood Reporter spoke with various producers, directors, and A-list names, including Michael B. Jordan, Matthew McConaughey, and Whoopi Goldberg, who praised Major's talent and work ethic and spoke of their hope that he'd be able to resume a successful career in Hollywood. Majors has never directly publicly apologized for his behavior towards his ex-girlfriends and has denied ever being physically abusive to women. In an interview with Good Morning America ahead of his April 2024 sentencing, Major says while he might have not been the best boyfriend at the time, he insisted that he had never hit a woman. My hands have never struck a woman, ever, he added. Maura Hooper, one of Major's ex-girlfriends who alleged emotional abuse and controlling behavior, told the Hollywood Reporter that she would like an apology. I don't really care that his movie is coming out, she said. What do you get at the end of a 52-week domestic violence course? Do the victims get a debrief? How could I know if he's changed? I don't see redemption happening here. Wayne, your thoughts?
Well, it's been settled by the courts. He didn't sought therapy, so forth and so on. And it seemed like him and Megan Good are doing pretty good. If I was him, I would not be doing anything on social media. I would not be responding to anything. I would just lay low. And this too shall pass.
I appreciate you. And you know what's interesting? He's never been a big social media person, so maybe that's helping him a lot too, Wayne. So good advice. Katrina, your thoughts?
Well, okay, Wayne. Who released that tape? Diva, did they say?
Of course, they never say. No, I don't know.
Because it's an app. I'm not saying it's not him. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's an app that you can use and you can take on somebody else's
They
voice.
had the tape, though, Katrina. They've been had it. So it's not like they had it during that trial. So it's really him speaking in her, but yeah, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they had it with the trial. So why they just not releasing it? Why didn't they release it with the trial when they was doing all this? This is ridiculous. And the thing, like you said, you got the Tate brothers where the president flew and got them out. I mean, I guess Jonathan don't have enough money. Maybe if he was in a billionaire or multi-millionaire status, he won't be getting this kind of flack. This is ridiculous. You have Sylvester Stallone, where he have allegations, but his career flourished. You have Mel Gibson, his career still flourishing. But you have this man that was trying to get away. She's saying he was abusing her that much. Why are you running behind him? He could have ran on out the truck and ran on down the hill and jumped into the lake. I would have never want to be with him anymore. If you saying that he did all these things to you, so why are you pursuing it? Why you want to be with him? It's ridiculous, and I'm not for no type of domestic abuse. So don't come for me in the thing chat. I'm just saying, if this man doing all this stuff to you, why would you want him anyway? If you saying that he said he was gonna unalive you, man, you can go on by your business. You can get them problems to Megan. But I guess they don't want him to make money with Megan, so they're gonna do anything they can to do to stop it. Because he's a black man that got away with something, even though he went through courts, he went through treatments, he went through psychology help or whatsoever, psychiatrist help, whatever. It's sad. Um, Maybe this will blow over too, as Wayne would say. Keep your mouth quiet, don't respond, and just let it blow over. And hopefully he'll get another job. But that's all I got.
Thank you. Felicia, your thoughts?
They won't give Jonathan a break. This man has already been charged with a crime. He went to trial. They found him guilty. He had a year's probation. He had to go get therapy. Amen. Go figure out what the problems are. Try to turn your life around. Whoever put this article out got it out for him. Yes, we did hear about pieces and bits of this and that. And when I hear the name Grace Jabari, who also was charged, but they never went through and took her to court and had her sit in front of a jury. And these other women, I'm sorry that you were in a situation where you were physically assaulted. But now you say you don't know if you're going to get an apology. You don't want. Miss me with the BS. Because the streets, when they don't like you, it doesn't matter. You can change, you can get better, you can seek forgiveness, blah, blah, blah. It's not enough. I agree with Wayne. Go be still somewhere, Jonathan. Don't have any comments. Try to avoid too many interviews where they're going to ask you too much. And try to live an honorable, decent life. And God be with you if you even think about putting your hands anywhere named Megan that is not in a loving and tender way. I'm done.
Appreciate you. Julius, your thoughts?
So we heard bits and pieces, like Miss Felicia said. Why is this coming out now? I have my theories, but I'm not going to reveal them. Could it be Grace Jabari is still salty? Like Gracie Girl is mad? But I will say this, Jonathan, lay low. Do not put your hands on Megan. Because she supported you through that trial. You owe her. You owe her big. Because the moment you put your hands on her, oh, your credibility is shot. Remember that. She saved you.
All right. In my opinion, your thoughts?
But I'm gonna say no, she didn't save him. He saved himself. Okay. He did the work. You can be sentenced to counseling, and I've seen a lot of people be sentenced to something and they don't take it serious. It seems like Jonathan has taken it serious. The only thing that bothers me about this case is they already have blown it up really, really big. The fact that Grace didn't get charged, even though she had been arrested for the charges, and the prosecutor decided they wasn't going to press charges because they needed her to testify against him. And then we look at the Johnny Depp situation with Amber Heard, similar cases where they both was putting their hands on each other. But after it's over, none of those videos came out no more. None of their audio tapes came back out no more. They're both working. It makes no sense. Other than I'm going to make sure I'm going to hit you where it hurt. I'm going to make sure I keep you down. And I hope these people that live with this evil heart and have no morale get their karma. Because you better be careful when you out there throwing stones.
Whew, thank you. I appreciate you in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and roll right into the last story. On this postal worker, he thought it was okay, cool to be stealing the checks from his route and balling out of control. So how U.S. postal workers stole 1.6 million in tax return checks to fund trips to strip clubs, luxury travel to Bali Resort. A federal jury found a postal service employee guilty on 20 counts of theft and fraud last week. A former United States Postal Service employee is facing a lengthy sentence after a jury convicted him of stealing over 1.6 million in checks intended for individuals on his mail route. I'm not going to mess with his name. I'm say Mr. M, 44, of Washington, D.C., fraudulently obtained and deposited close to 100 checks over a span of just under 3 years, according to a criminal complaint obtained by People. Most of the checks were tax returns issued by the Treasury Department. Mr. M used the proceeds of the stolen checks to fund a lavish lifestyle that included international travel, stays at luxury hotels, and purchases at gentlemen's clubs. Prosecutors with the Justice Department said in a statement. One of those trips to the Bulgari resort Bali in July 2022, according to a copy of the indictment obtained by People. Authorities learned about the trip thanks to a $14,532.94 debit card purchase that Mr. M made during his tropical getaway. The Bulgari Bali resort boasts 59 private oceanside villas, each with their own pool and bespoke butler service. The resort website shows the cheapest villa was cost $1,300 in change per night in July, not including taxes and fees. Authorities began investigating Mr. M in January 2023 at the individual called to report their Treasury check for over $14,000 had somehow been obtained and then deposited into someone else's bank account, according to the criminal complaint filed by prosecutors in the case. That individual didn't recognize the name and the address on the U.S. Treasury check as the same name and address that their mail carrier had used on a holiday card, states the complaint. When investigators went to the bank to learn more, they were provided copies of 4 additional U.S. Treasury checks that were fraudulently negotiated into the same account. Those 5 checks totaled over $57,000, according to prosecutors, but proved to be just the tip of the iceberg. The complaint states that over the course of the next few months, investigators discovered approximately 98 misappropriated checks that had been deposited into accounts controlled by Mr. M. Those checks were each deposited into one of Mr. M's 7 accounts and had an aggregated value of $1.6 million in change, according to the complaint. That includes one check for $415,000 in change that authorities learned of while searching Mr. M's residence, where they discovered a receipt for the deposit. Mr. M even deposited checks and withdrew stolen funds while wearing the USPS uniform, prosecutors noted in the complaint, citing surveillance footage. He managed to deposit checks by altering or forcibly endorsing them, removing the proper payee on the checks, and replacing it with his own name, according to the complaint. Prosecutors ultimately charged Mr. M with 20 counts, including 10 counts of theft of mail and 7 counts of bank fraud. On March 14th, a jury found Mr. M guilty on all 20 counts, and his sentencing is set for August. Mr. M faces up to 30 years in prison for each count of the bank fraud and up to 5 years in prison for each count of mail fraud. A lawyer representing Mr. M declined to comment when reached out by People. He's done. Wayne, your thoughts?
As my mother would have said, he had more nerve than Carly got liver pills. I can't believe that he did that. And then he rubbed it in their face. I mean, first I thought it could be like an operation, but maybe the bank, how was he getting these checks cashed? But he really went in. I mean, forgery, everything. I think he's getting a just sentence. Mm-hmm. I mean, because like you said, those are people's lives. Waiting on that money. Got something to do. And I'm surprised how he was able to do it. I mean, I think that was just the tip of the iceberg. Like they said, this was only 30 counts. And he's been doing this about 3 years. I'm surprised, when you deal in the bank with transactions more than like, I think $9,000 or $10,000, something like this, some limit that the feds are alerted. So he got what he got. He got what he deserved.
Mm. Katrina, your thoughts?
I'm still trying to figure out, did he have a person working in the bank with him? Because how in the world he's taking these checks in here and nobody noticing that these checks, how he put his name on the treasury check, on a income tax check? Still trying to figure that one out. He had to know somebody in that bank to be taking them, putting them checks in his account. And you're right, Wayne. Every time that you deposit 10,000 or take out $10,000, the bank send up a red flag. So I don't understand how he deposited 400 and some $1,000 check and nobody checked on it to see where
You
it
can
coming
deposit
from.
the check. You can
Yeah,
deposit the check
he can deposit
on
it,
your
but I'm just
phone
saying it. But if
just
he
by taking
deposit,
a picture of it. So and send it to the
yeah,
bank.
but I know, but still, they run checks on those type of check, especially that a large amount of type of check. Because even when you go to buy a house and they look at your bank account, you have to prove where every place where that money came from. How you get this much money in your account? Where this much money came from? Where this came from? They look at everything. So by him depositing that 400 and some $1,000 in that bank account, and nobody, yeah, you can take a picture of it, but how you taking a picture of somebody else's name on this account and you depositing it into your checking account? Most of the time when you do that, they'll
Katrina,
tell you,
Katrina, follow the story. He removed their name and he put his name on it.
how in the heck he did that? That
You're not a criminal, so you wouldn't know. We wouldn't know how he did.
girl,
Criminals,
he's a
criminals
dumbest
know how to
criminal.
do what they do.
He's a dumbest criminal because if I put that money in my account and it went through, you think I'm finna leave it in there? He messed up his own. You right. He balled in Bali with the oceanfront view and whatsoever. He might well get he might well get ready now because his only view is gonna be some bars, and that's just ridiculous and sad. And like you said, these people needed their money because a lot of people take that income tax money buy they go on trips themselves, buy the kids stuff, buy new furniture and all that type of stuff. And he sent them that ball and going to Bali and then to the strip club. I'm He should be on World Dumbest Criminals. His face should stay on World Dumbest Criminals because that don't make no sense. That's what I don't understand with these people, how they get all this money. You getting the money, you got the money, and you still like they're committing more fraud. You ain't got away with it this time. You still going back out to do it again because you got away with it the first time. So yeah, he need to be, and he going to feds. That's postal. Yeah, he gonna do every day by day. He's not even gonna get no time served, and that's what he get. That's all I got.
Thank you. Felicia, your thoughts?
Well, this happened to me. No, I didn't have no, what was it? 414,000,
Mhm.
all that kind of money. But uh, my co-counsel said, well, how he do that? So where I live, someone decided down at the post office that whenever they would get mail that had the address of where I live on it, they would open it and take out the rent money. That's what they were doing.
Mm.
And so when I paid my rent money, I know you could pay online, you can do this, you can do that, blah, blah, blah. I still pay by money order because I live in a world where that's the only thing that seems people want to respect without shutting down everything else because you say, hey, I sent the money. So anyway, these people were down there, and I'm going to go with Katrina on this one. There was somebody in the post office setting aside this mail, and any business that was getting money through this post office that was sending in or getting money, they were getting those checks as well. But I reported that my rent money hadn't been received, and where was it? And the management was very slow to respond. But I went to the United States Postal Service, and they had an investigator on the case. And one day I get an email from the investigator, and the investigator says, hey, do you know this person? And I open up the email, and oh, dear God, there was a man that I never seen before in the most hideous black and leather jacket, holding my 2 money order checks in his hand, getting ready to deposit it in the TD bank. Yeah.
Mm.
And I had completely filled out the money orders with my name and all the information, and he didn't even take it off. It was just like I had mailed it. And it turned out he was the same person who stole my neighbor's rent money. And when it was all over with, it turned out to be a major case, and it was something between 3.2 and 4.5 million dollars was stolen. And I don't think it's because someone is incredibly smart, but I think it's because a lot of people don't care and don't give a damn. And so they work at the bank. In come the gray haired diva, and she's saying her name is Katrina Love. They go, okay. And they just submit it, and it happens. So my lesson here was be ever vigilant. Because I also learned that if you don't have the top part to that money order, they will not reimburse you for any theft. They won't do it. So you have to have the top part, and you would have had to fill out the entire face of the money order. So let's say you scribbled in on the top line and you didn't give too much about the second line, and the person was able to use one of those pens with an erasable point, and the person filled in the whole thing. They won't reimburse you your money. You can ask a couple of my neighbors who kept crying about it. So you got to be very careful, because theft is big. And when you need your money, outside of maybe you and your immediate family, nobody really cares if you get your money back. So I'm glad they got this guy, because he's out here sending out holiday cards with his criminal address on it. So I'm glad Santa got locked up, got charged. We don't need to see him no more. I'm not.
Thank you, Julius. Your thoughts?
As the great Miss Felicia says, folks don't care. Folks don't care. And TD Bank was under investigation for this type of thing because they was letting things go through. So I'm glad that the dude got clinked up, and the many others who do what he does, I hope they get clinked up too. Choo choo, beep beep, beep beep. That's it.
In my opinion, your thoughts?
This one is one of those ones that you would call dumb, stupid, and both. Okay, he both. Because I know good and God doggone well, everybody knows you don't mess with a federal, and the IRS is federal, a federal check. This man is gonna get so much time, he ain't gonna be able to serve it in his lifetime. So I hope it was worth it. I hope giving it to the strippers in whatever country you went to was worth it.
Oh my God.
Hope the drinks and the vacation was worth it, because you will never see the light of day again.
They said per count 30 years. Okay? Per count 30 years.
And they weren't playing, Diva.
And they weren't playing. Listen, before I close out, I will give a little update and say this, that the young lady who unfortunately is missing, that went to the DR on spring break, who they're saying drowned, most likely is no longer here. That story is getting more scarier and scarier. They are holding the young man that was part of the group that went with her, and they're questioning him. But pretty much he gave an ultimatum today that either y'all arrest me or y'all let me go about my business. Okay, because he, and he has told many versions of the story about what happened. And, and part of the version was so over the top, because part of the version was, it was a big wave, but I was drunk, she was drunk, but I saved her. I got her back to shore. As soon as I got back to shore, I was throwing up. I saw her, then I passed out and I went to sleep, and now I don't know what happened to her. But they found her clothes on the beach there in the chair. This thing is just getting sad. And I guess the best I could say is that your kids got to be careful who they go on vacation with. You got to be careful yourself who you go on vacation with. But I will also say this too, that I mean, this is probably easy for me to say because I'm not a drinker, but I feel like you gotta watch when you're going out and you're drinking too, and you especially when you're away. It's just the whole thing is just extremely sad. And my other update is for the young man that unfortunately lost his life while pledging, right? The hazing incident. There were more well, there's 3 arrests so far, and then the I want to say now that's losing my mind, but someone who worked at the school that was part of the fraternity, he was suspended for 30 days. So the whole situation is just it's so sad on so many levels that you have these young lives that are no longer here, and it's like, for what? Right? For what? You simply are sending your kids off to college or off to school, and now you get a phone call saying like they either missing or they're just gone or whatever. I do believe that unfortunately, in the case of the pledging, that is just not. It already is not ending well, but it's really not going to end well because these individuals, they changed this young man. It was a lot that went on before they went to go get him help, right? So those are the updates I have for the stories that we have been doing. There's a few another updates, and maybe I'll give maybe we'll do update Friday, so to speak, to give a little more. But those 2 particular stories weighing very heavy on my mind, because to this day no one has paid in terms of justice for what happened to Shanquilla Robinson. There was another young lady, and that story didn't go as viral. But again, in my opinion, you might remember that young lady because they propped her up
Oh,
on the
Misha.
yeah, they propped her up on the toilet and act like she was still alive. And I don't think anybody paid for, that young lady no longer being here. I'm very careful about who I spend my time with and definitely who I go on vacation with. Because when you're going, just to another state, or even if you're going out of the country, you have to be very careful who you're with. Yeah. Yeah, she's another Natalie Holloway. It's just, listen, if you iffy about
Well,
somebody,
Natalie finally getting justice. So he's been transferred here, and he's been waiting for trial.
yeah, but how long, like, what is that, 30 years? How many years has that been?
He's going. It's been 30 years since it happened, but he's locked up and he's here in Alabama. So, and he's getting the death penalty if he convicted.
Yeah. It's just sad. I guess my point that I'm trying to make is be careful of the company you keep. And most of us probably growing up, our parents or somebody in our family probably have really literally said those words to us in one way, shape, or form. But it's very serious. Like, be careful of the company you keep. You got to stay safe, be safe, and just watch who you're hanging out with. Listen, guys, y'all know the routine. If y'all didn't hit that like button on the way in, hit it on the way out. And of course, trending topics every night this week, probably Tuesday 8:30, because I do a show with Royer before I go live. But other than that, like, good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.
Good night.